Hey guys, Tony Denaro here. Welcome back. I got absolutely inundated this weekend with questions from people asking me, Tony, did you see the video from this guy or that guy talking about these mysterious preferred shares that Adam Aaron just created, or the Class B shares that he used to rig the vote? Is that true, Tony? Well, we are not just going to sit here and talk to the camera and provide you no evidence like the clickbaiter channels do. We're going to provide the receipts and show you everything you need to know. Let's get right into it in today's episode of FUDBusters. I would just like to begin by saying to my fellow content creators and folks out there on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, I'm always here as a resource to you. Feel free to reach out to me if you ever want to validate any information. But the fact that no one ever reaches out makes me assume that you guys are just pushing out content for clicks or to get people emotionally upset. Now let's talk about those preferred shares and the Class B shares. You always hear that old phrase, do your own DD. And if you listen to my channel, you hear another one. Always read the filings. Everything you want to know, guys, is in the filings. Let's take a look and we'll do a quick Reader's Digest version. And then if you want to stick around and learn a little bit more, or maybe what you missed that we've been talking about in the past 2 years, I'll give you extra background for those that want to stick around. If you want legit information, you can go to the SEC's Edgar website. It is free. Type in AMC for the company name. Let's go to registration statements. Pull that up, and we're going to look at this most recent one, March 9th, 2022. Once you are in that file, scroll down to the table of contents and go to the section that's called Description of Capital Stock. And for those of you that want the short version of this video, everything you want to know about the shares that AMC has is right here from the company. It says here that AMC's authorized capital stock consists of 524 million shares of common stock, that is the AMC shares, 50 million shares of preferred stock, and that they retired the Class B common stock. If you want to know a little bit more details about the preferred stock, you guys know that some of that was used to create APE. You can continue scrolling down, and it talks about how they took 10 million of those and created the APE units. I don't think we need to go back over that again. For those of you now who want to know the background information, stick around for another minute. I'll tell you how the preferred stock has been in existence in AMC since the company was incorporated back in 2013, where that Class B stock came from, and when and why it got retired. In the state of Delaware, where AMC and thousands of other companies are incorporated, there's a very common provision that is usually entered into the company's original articles of incorporation called blank check preferred stock. Typically, that blank check preferred stock is there as a anti-takeover measure. But if blank check preferred stock is something that you are worried about because it's blank check, always go read company filings and take a look at their capital stock structure. Now, let's go back and look at AMC here on the SEC website, going all the way back to 2013, the original filings. You could pick any of those prospectus from 2013. They're all pretty much the same thing. Let's just open one of them up and go to the same thing that we just did. Scroll down to the table of contents and look at what it said back in 2013 about the description of capital stock. And sure enough, back in 2013, they had the Class A common stock, the Class B common stock, and the preferred stock. At that time in 2013, the company had about just under 19 million shares of Class A common stock and 75.8 million shares of the Class B common stock. And if we scroll down, there is here everything you wanted to know about the blank check preferred stock. Here in green, it says we have no present plans back in 2013 to issue any shares of preferred stock. And then what I want to talk about with you, just to bring you up to speed, if you're not familiar with blank check preferred stock, what is in yellow here is very common, what I call boilerplate language. You can find in many, many, many companies' articles of incorporation. It says that the board of directors is authorized without stockholder approval. That is important to know, to issue from time to time up to 50 million shares of preferred stock in one or more series, and to fix the designations, preferences, rights, qualifications, limitations, or restrictions of each share, including dividend rights, dividend rates, conversion rights, voting rights, terms of redemption, etc. For anyone that follows Tony Denaro or maybe ever listened to Pantheon back when he used to cover a lot of this stuff in depth, you've known about the preferred stock. They've been there since 2013. They're in every prospectus, and they are talked about also, I believe, in just about every 10Q and or the 10Ks. For sure, they're in every prospectus over the last 10 years. It's a maximum of 50 million, and until recently, they were just sitting out there authorized but not issued, not being used. What AMC did with the preferred stock was a little bit unusual. They took 10 million of them and created 1 billion APE units, as we know. And then in the recent proxy statement where people voted on a reverse split and a conversion, there was Appendix A at the very bottom in the fine print. You will read that if the conversion and the reverse split happens, APE will go away. Those 10 million preferred shares that were issued will go away. And then there is in Appendix A, it says that the preferred stock will reset to 50 million authorized but unissued preferred stock. So they will have their 50 million back in their back pocket should they ever need them for anti-takeover or whatever use they decide. Let's talk now about the Class B stock. They were created back in 2013, a very powerful class of stock because they had 3 votes per share. If you guys know the history of AMC, way back in the day, there was a Chinese company that was the majority stakeholder of AMC, and they owned all of the Class B common stock. You can see here it says in yellow, Wanda will hold 75.8 million shares of our Class B common stock, representing approximately 80% of our outstanding common stock and 92% of the combined voting power. Huge power with those Class B shares. The other thing that is worth knowing, even though the Class B is not in existence anymore, is that each share of Class B common stock was convertible at any time at the option of the holder, Wanda, into 1 share of Class A common stock. And eventually that is exactly what happened. There is an 8K you can look up February 1st, 2021, or you can find the press releases also. February 1st, 2021, it says here, Wanda converted its Class B into Class A. And you can see highlighted in green, it says no additional shares of Class B will be issued following the conversion. On that day, February 1st, 2021, Class B was retired. There is no more. Anyone who's telling you that there is Class B has not done the work to read any of the filings. After that conversion by Wanda back in February 2021 from the B to the A shares, we got another notice from AMC in May of 2021 that Wanda Group has sold off most of its remaining shares in the movie theater company. It was a big deal back in the press. Some of you might remember it. I certainly do. Back from May of 2021, there's an article you can look up on the Hollywood Reporter, and it says even here at the bottom of this article that AMC disclosed that Wanda sold all but 10,000 shares. I think that because of the ongoing lawsuit, the Lau versus Wanda lawsuit that was happening in 2021 and 2022, that Wanda had to hold a little bit of shares. I don't remember if that is exactly correct, but suffice to say that those 75 million shares that they had, they sold 99.9% of all of them back in May of 2021. Those were Class A shares. At that point, Wanda was out of the AMC play, and the board members that were from Wanda that were on the AMC board also left the company at that time. So that wraps up our story, our history lesson from 2013 about the 50 million preferred shares, how they've been hanging out, and they recently got used to create 1 billion apes. The story of the Class B shares that Wanda owned from 2013 to 2021, which have since then been retired and no longer in existence. I hope you found this useful. Again, guys, if you are a content creator and you're ever unsure about the due diligence, I spend hours every day for the last couple years going through these filings. I would love to help you out. Instead of getting people riled up with misinformation, let's just focus on getting facts out to the folks. I am Tony Denaro. Thank you for watching. FUDBusters.